Hi, and welcome to the Transportation Committee meeting on February 20th. It's 5:02 to start. I am Sarah Waterman. Our chairperson is actually not here today, so I'll be helping with this committee. And right now we have two committee members, Jason Ebbs and Tim Frelier. And then we also have our staff and our liaison to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. So we'll start with the approval of minutes for the October 17th meeting. I can look for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
And
Second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you. So we'll start with our committee discussion. The first item is Beacon Hill stop signs, and I'll let Amy lead on that.
Sure. Let me pull up my map here for reference. So, as you might remember, originally we had a request for a stop sign at this intersection here of Blue Ridge and Beacon Hills. So this area is many townhouses, and there's a slight slope coming out of Blue Ridge. So we had a request for a stop sign here. And as we were considering the signage needs here, we also noticed another intersection in the neighborhood, the Beacon Hills Cove Circle Rockhurst Drive intersection that the signage there was inconsistent with the rest of the neighborhood and how you would typically see stop signs being used. So in place of the stop signs that were on Beacon Hills Drive, we removed those stop signs and installed yield signs on Rockhurst Drive and Cove Circle. So before we completed the sign change, we had put down traffic counters in the neighborhood. And luckily, we got some good weather in December of last year that allowed us to put down the counters for a couple of days, again, after the signage was changed. And in the end, we saw that the 85th percentile, originally, before the signage change, down in this area of Beacon Hills Drive South, the 85th percentile, I want to say, let me get this right, it was 26 miles per hour, and the speed limit there is 25 miles an hour. And then when we looked again at the same location, in December, after the signage was changed, we saw an 85th percentile speed of 27 miles an hour. So pretty much the same. We also put down counters on Beacon Hills Drive North to compare between the traffic on the north side and the south side. And up there, we saw an 85th percentile speed of 28 miles an hour. So everything stayed, as far as the speeds, everything stayed relatively the same from what we could see. And additionally, once, come spring and we're not having to be concerned with plows and salt and everything, we can put down the counters again just to double check.
And then to add to that, we did receive a few residents' feedback back in November and early December, and really haven't heard much since. The residents reached out right after the signs were removed, and then in that time, as the signs were replaced. They were surprised by the change, even though the town did send out a letter, letting them know about that. But we haven't heard anything from the residents since, so it seems like it's calmed down a little bit.
Previously, the stop signs, were actually on Beacon Hills South. So as you were driving on Beacon Hills, headed east or west, and then approached either Cove Circle or Rockhurst, you did have to stop at that intersection where Rockhurst and Cove Circle, anyone coming out of those side streets would turn left or right or go straight across, I guess, if they wanted, without stopping whatsoever. The stop signs were removed on Beacon Hills. I think kind of looking back, the neighborhood was originally a couple phases, and it was like they were likely installed as part of one phase and intended to be removed with the completion of another, but just hadn't. Because of that, really, they were inappropriately posted at those locations. As we did remove the stop signs, did get some feedback, and as a result of such, did install the yield signs for any traffic exiting Cove Circle or Rockhurst turning onto Beacon Hills. And since then, I've not heard anything, and I don't believe you guys have either.
We have not. So at this point, the big item of follow-up will be to do counters kind of in that spring, summer time, just to confirm that we're still getting the same results as before, just with the new signage or changed signage. Are there any questions from the committee members?
Other than Mark indicated he was going to bring this to the committee for discussion in his responses to the let me get the names right here. Lender and I don't even know how to say the other one.
The
but
residents that reached
there were
out?
several of them that he said he'd bring it to the committee, so
Yeah.
is that what we're doing today, other than just for information, not to act on anything, and are we going to get back to him again? Because this was in December 5th, so it's been like
It's
two
been
and
a
a half
bit.
months, yeah.
So at this point, we're bringing it to the committee as an informational item. If the committee members find that there's something else that you feel is appropriate for us to do, we would do that as well. Otherwise, it's just informational, and if you believe it would be appropriate for us to get back to those residents,
Okay.
let them know it was brought to the committee. This is the first meeting we've had since they
Agreed.
reached
Yep,
out,
understood.
and that's why it's taken so
Okay.
long.
Yeah,
Again, a lot of or all of the responses and input that we've got was in between the removal of the previous stop signs and the installation of the new yield signs.
Okay.
Along with that, prior to the yield signs, additional letters were sent out explaining, what was going to be put where, why. And then we did, kind of while the crew was even out there, we did take pictures and put that on the town's website to explain
okay, good.
what was done and
All
why.
right. Follow through is good.
Yeah.
That's all. Did anyone ever observe the compliance with the stop signs when they were up? Just,
On the south side, I did not. On the northeast side, I observed compliance at that T intersection.
but
I've
at this
observed.
particular four-way,
I've seen cars stop there. Yeah.
And I believe, and obviously I'm not speaking for them, but when Mary and Laurie were discussing this neighborhood, since that's where they live,
yes, I know that.
although they couldn't be here today, they did previously say that sometimes people stopped, sometimes
Right.
people didn't.
It was usually more of a rolling stop. It wasn't, a complete stop.
Which is not a surprise, right?
No, not at a
But when some of the emails that I read, when you take it out and now they're not stopping, so it's like, okay, is not going through there or not stopping or a rolling stop, which is the lesser, particularly for someone crossing or the whole school bus issue. I'm like, okay, they're saying you're supposed to stop when there's a school bus. Doesn't matter whether there's a stop sign there or not.
Yep.
So, okay, that's fine.
With no more questions on this matter, we'll continue on to item number 2. That is 5 Mile Line Road at Pennicott Circle and Tall Tree Drive. There was a crosswalk request a while ago, and we passed that on to the county, right? Yeah, the county. They got back, wrote a letter, and acknowledged that they are willing to put in a crosswalk at that location. This summer, the town will be putting ramps on the sidewalks at Lone Oak. And once the town does that, then the county will move forward after those ramps are placed. At this time, the town and the county are only putting in the crosswalk markings and the signage to go with it. It was requested that an RFB was put in, and that's a reflective beacon, but at this time, it doesn't warrant that.
Sarah, I apologize,
Or am I
I don't
mixing
have the county's letter in front of me.
Sure.
The original request, I believe, was for the rectangular rapid flashing beacon.
Yeah.
And so that was sent to I guess as part of it, the whole thing was sent to the county. County agreed that the crosswalk itself was warranted, but that it did not meet the criteria for the flashing beacon, correct?
Yes. So the town will be doing our part this summer, and then the county would follow up with the crosswalk. Are there any questions on that item? Okay, seeing none, we'll move forward to the 5 Mile Line at Embury Road crosswalk request. We did also send that request to the DOT, and that also received a yes. So that will also just have the crosswalk and signage at this time. And I don't have a time frame for that to be installed right now.
This was also a request for another beacon there
Yes, it was.
at the end of Embury by Keim, Keim. They live on Alberta Drive. I think that's off of Embury, isn't it?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, it's the first side street,
And
southwest of that intersection.
generally, the town won't put in a rectangular reflective beacon as a first step. If there's continued need for it, or it warrants it in the future, that's when it would be considered. So.
Right, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Don't go straight to the top.
So that's why it's just going to be a crosswalk and signage at this point.
Does that one also need a ramp?
I don't,
I believe the portion on Embury does have a ramp down to 5 Mile. I think both sides do, but I don't know if they meet ADA requirements.
Because I know that radius there is always getting torn up and big hole.
It is, I know we've done some work on it, and it has helped improve, I think, between the paving work that was done on 5 Mile, the Nova Chip work a few years back. We were able to adjust that radius and the apron itself, and then did some work of our own at that corner.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look and see if the current ramps meet the requirements or not.
and if they don't, would it be put on the town's work
Yep.
to fix it or replace it? Great. Are there any more questions on that one? Seeing none, we currently do not have any items under traffic concerns under other jurisdictions. And the held items that we've had at other meetings are scheduled for for March. Is there any new business that anyone would like to bring to our attention?
I thought we had one, there was a couple follow-ups from the last one that, yeah, did Mark ever ask for the speed data for Salt Road?
I am not aware at this time.
Okay. The follow-up for the post-construction speed on Salt between
Oh, since after the
Plank and
shoulders
Atlantic, yeah,
got put in?
yep.
Yeah, right now, I'm not aware, but I can add it as an item for the next meeting to bring up, even if it's just informational.
It's possible he has that on his radar, but if it was brought up at the last meeting, we're still in that winter time period where we can't really put counters down or
I think the county
request
would have
any.
collected it.
Yeah.
Right.
The county
but-
would have collected it prior, the project was done 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, this is, okay, a couple
This
years
is
back, gotcha. I didn't
post-construction,
realize,
so
okay.
typically there's pre-construction traffic, both volumes and speed.
Right.
And then afterwards measure, and there's a whole lot of data that goes back quite a ways, which
Yeah.
gets back to the Harris Road and the future improvements and the speeding, and it addresses a lot of different aspects of concerns that people bring up, that people are going faster when in fact it's likely probably 1 or 2 miles an hour difference than what it was before.
Yeah, it's perception.
And, yes, so, and that's actual data, not, we're talking like we know what we're talking about.
Yeah. I'll bring that to Mark's attention so that we can get it on the agenda.
We should get it all, whatever post-construction data they have, if there's any others out there. I'm trying to think, maybe.
They have Wayland Road, it's from 5 Mile Line.
Yeah, this would be where shoulders were installed, where there wasn't shoulders before.
Have we had another shoulder project in town in the last
The
few
other
years?
ones would have been Harris Road, from Atlantic North,
Oh, okay.
Atlantic up to State
Atlantic.
Road.
Yeah.
But that would have been that was a few years, that was even further
I
back,
thought
so.
that was further back.
North of Plank, they put, but it's not a 5-foot shoulder, it's,
They're, I think 3 in one section and.
yeah. So that would be
vary
good to
from
have as
two and a
well,
half to
just to
4,
see.
depending on the spot.
Right.
Yeah, we can reach out to the county for that data.
It'd be good to have in hand for responses to other north-south roads that are very typical, that don't have shoulders now and would like to have shoulders and speeding.
Great. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Are there any other new business items that anyone would like to bring up? Seeing none, our next meeting is March 19th, 2024. Same place and time, from 5 PM to 6 PM at the auditorium at the town hall. And we will adjourn our meeting at 5:19 PM.